Prince Albert Victor, known affectionately within his family as Eddie, was a figure poised at the edge of greatness in the British monarchy. As the eldest son of the future King Edward VII and grandson of Queen Victoria, he carried the weight of an empire's expectations from the moment he entered the world. Yet his life, marked by personal fragility, quiet charms, and swirling rumors, ended far too soon, leaving behind a legacy of what-ifs and unspoken sorrows. His story unfolds like a chapter from a grand historical drama, revealing the human side of royalty amid the rigid structures of Victorian society. It's a narrative that blends promise with pain, duty with desire, and ultimately reminds us that even those destined for thrones are vulnerable to the twists of fate. The era into which Eddie was born was a time of profound transformation and steadfast traditions. It was 1864, well into Queen Victoria's long reign, a period when the British Empire dominated the globe, its influence extending from the sun-baked plains of India to the rugged coasts of Africa and beyond. Industrial revolution fueled progress, with steam-powered machines clanging in factories, railways crisscrossing the landscape, and innovations like the electric telegraph shrinking the world. Society, however, clung to strict moral codes where propriety reigned supreme on the surface, even as undercurrents of vice and inequality simmered below. The royal family served as the nation's moral compass, embodying continuity in an age of upheaval. Victoria herself, widowed since 1861 after losing her husband Prince Albert to typhoid, governed with a mix of iron resolve and deep-seated mourning, her black attire a constant reminder of personal loss. Eddie's parents added their own layers to this tapestry. His father, Albert Edward, Bertie to intimates, was the charismatic Prince of Wales, known for his sociable nature, love of entertainment, and occasional indulgences that raised eyebrows at court. His mother, Alexandra, a princess from Denmark, brought elegance and poise, though she quietly battled progressive deafness that isolated her in social settings. Into this environment of opulence and obligation came Eddie, born prematurely on January 8th at Frogmore House in Windsor, a modest royal residence nestled in lush gardens. Weighing under 4 pounds, he was a fragile newcomer, his early arrival 2 months ahead of schedule, causing concern among the family. Doctors monitored him closely, wrapping him in cotton wool for warmth, a common practice for premature infants then. Victoria, ever the matriarch, named him Albert Victor Christian Edward, honoring her late husband and forging a direct link to the throne's storied past. From his first breath, Eddie's existence was defined by destiny. Second in line to the crown, he was groomed for a role that demanded strength, yet his delicate start hinted at the vulnerabilities that would shadow him. In an age where royal heirs were expected to embody vigor and intellect, Eddie's prematurity set a tone of quiet struggle, where duty often clashed with personal limitations. Eddie's childhood played out under the immense shadow of royal legacy, a blend of privilege, pressure, and close familial bonds. As Victoria's eldest grandson, his position as heir presumptive after his father brought constant scrutiny. He and his brother George, born on June 3, 1865, just 17 months later, were raised together in the opulent yet disciplined world of Marlborough House in Sandringham, the family's Norfolk estate. The brothers were thick as thieves, sharing nursery games, pony rides through estate grounds, and the occasional mischief that lightened the heavy atmosphere of royal upbringing. Nannies and governesses enforced strict routines, early rises, cold baths to build character, and lessons in etiquette from infancy. Eddie, however, stood apart in his gentleness. Described by courtiers as having a sweet disposition, he was kind to servants, often slipping treats to kitchen staff or playing with the children of estate workers, acts that endeared him to those below stairs, but sometimes drew disapproval from above for blurring class lines. His health remained a concern. Frequent colds and fevers kept him indoors more than his robust brother, fostering a dreamy, introspective nature. By 1871, at age 7, the princes began formal education under Reverend John Neal Dalton, a Cambridge-educated cleric appointed as their tutor. Dalton's program was rigorous: mornings devoted to Latin, history, and mathematics, afternoons to French, German, and military exercises like fencing and riding. Eddie mastered Danish fluently, speaking it with his mother during family teas, where Alexandra would share stories of her homeland's fjords and fairy tales. But other subjects proved challenging. Dalton's reports painted a picture of a boy whose mind was abnormally dormant, his attention wandering during lectures, leading to slow progress. Speculation arose. Perhaps he inherited Alexandra's hearing impairment, turning spoken lessons into muffled echoes, or maybe subtle epileptic episodes, petit mal seizures, caused those blank moments, though never formally diagnosed. Court insider Lady Geraldine Somerset, a sharp-eyed observer, critiqued Dalton's dry teaching style, suggesting it failed to ignite Eddie's curiosity. Yet beneath the criticisms lay a deeper truth. Eddie was a sensitive soul, more attuned to emotions than equations, a dreamer who sketched birds in the margins of his notebooks rather than memorizing dates. Family letters reveal tender moments like when young Eddie wrote to his grandmother Victoria, "I wish I could be as clever as Papa, but I try hard for you." These early years shaped a prince who valued connection over conquest, a quality that would both charm and challenge those around him. As Eddie entered his teens, the royal establishment steered him toward a path of disciplined maturation, channeling him into the Navy, a time-honored tradition for British princes to build character and see the world. In September 1877, at the tender age of 13, he and George enrolled as cadets on HMS Britannia, a training ship moored in Dartmouth Harbor. The start was delayed by 2 months when Eddie contracted typhoid fever, a dangerous illness that confined him to bed with high fevers and delirium. Treated by the renowned physician Sir William Gull, who had attended his grandfather, he recovered slowly, his thin frame even more gaunt. Once aboard, life was a stark contrast to palace comforts. Reveille at dawn, scrubbing decks in biting winds and learning knots, navigation and gunnery under strict officers. Storms tossed the ship during drills, testing resolve. Eddie, though not the strongest swimmer, showed quiet determination, once helping a fellow cadet during a rigging exercise despite his own seasickness. Dalton accompanied them as chaplain, leading prayers and continuing lessons below deck. The experience ignited a passion for travel in Eddie. Promoted to midshipman on his 16th birthday in 1880, he set off that year on a monumental 3-year voyage aboard HMS Bacchante, a corvette refitted for royal service. This grand tour spanned the empire, a floating classroom of cultures and horizons. They sailed first to the Americas, docking in Bermuda, where Eddie marveled at coral reefs and tasted exotic fruits. Southward to the Falklands, braving Antarctic gales that iced the sails, he wrote in his journal of the wild beauty of the waves. In South Africa, they visited Cape Town's markets, Eddie purchasing beads for his sisters. Australia brought sun-soaked adventures, cricket matches in Sydney, where he scored a modest run, and sheep-shearing demonstrations in the outback. Fiji introduced tribal dances and feasts of roasted pig, the princes donning grass skirts for photos that amused the family back home. Singapore's spice-laden streets overwhelmed the senses, while Ceylon, now Sri Lanka, offered elephant rides through tea plantations and visits to Buddhist temples, where Eddie lit incense in quiet reflection. The voyage's most rebellious highlight came in Japan. Defying Victorian norms, the brothers got intricate dragon tattoos. Eddie's a blue and red beast curling across his arm, done in Yokohama by a master artist. These inked secrets, hidden under uniforms, symbolized a private defiance, shared only with intimates like future spouses or close male friends. By the time they returned in 1882, Eddie was 18, broader shouldered and worldlier, his skin bronzed by foreign suns. Though academics still eluded him, the journey honed a diplomatic ease, teaching him to engage with diverse peoples, a skill that would serve in his public life. In 1883, the brothers' paths split, marking a pivotal shift in Eddie's journey toward independence. George remained in the Navy, thriving in its structured camaraderie, while Eddie matriculated at Trinity College, Cambridge, the ancient university steeped in scholarly tradition. High hopes accompanied him. As a future king, intellectual polish was essential. Dalton stayed on as guide, joined by James Kenneth Stephen, a brilliant poet and cousin to Virginia Woolf's family, appointed as additional tutor. Stephen, with his sharp intellect and rumored personal affections toward Eddie, initially hoped to inspire, but soon despaired. In a private letter, he confided, "I do not think he can possibly derive much benefit from attending lectures at Cambridge. He hardly knows the meaning of the words 'to read.'" Eddie's days blended lectures on history and law with the lighter side of student existence, rowing on the Cam River, where his long arms gave him an edge, and attending balls at grand halls, charming debutantes with his soft-spoken manner. He served briefly as a cadet in the 2nd Cambridge University Battalion, drilling in uniform and learning basic tactics, a nod to his military future. Yet, focus waned. Excused from formal exams due to his status, he pursued interests like polo, galloping across fields with a mallet in hand, his athletic build shining in competition. A summer interlude in 1884 took him to Heidelberg University in Germany, a picturesque town of castles and rivers, to refine his terrible German under tutors. There, amid beer halls and philosophical discussions, he improved modestly, picking up phrases for diplomatic chats. By 1885, Cambridge concluded with an honorary degree, a ceremonial capstone rather than earned triumph. Transitioning to the Army, Eddie joined the 10th Royal Hussars, a prestigious cavalry unit famed for its scarlet uniforms and daring charges. Stationed at Aldershot, a bustling garrison town, he faced endless parades and maneuvers, which he endured rather than enjoyed, preferring the thrill of polo matches where he captained teams to victory. Promoted to captain in 1887 after passing basic exams, thanks to his strong auditory memory, he took on ceremonial duties, inaugurating the Hammersmith Bridge in London. Its iron spans a marvel of engineering, where crowds cheered as he cut the ribbon, touring Gibraltar's fortifications, scaling rocky heights for panoramic views, and visiting Ireland, where he opened exhibitions and met locals, his liberal leanings on Home Rule earning quiet approval from nationalists. His uncle, the Duke of Cambridge and Army Commander-in-Chief, grumbled about his inveterate laziness, but a fellow officer countered in memoirs that Eddie excelled in listening, absorbing strategies through conversation rather than books, a subtle intelligence often missed in an era valuing rote learning. As the 1880s waned, Eddie's life quickened pace, blending public elevation with private longings. In May 1890, Queen Victoria bestowed upon him the titles Duke of Clarence and Avondale and Earl of Athlone, names rich with historical irony. Clarence evoked a medieval duke drowned in a barrel of wine, while Avondale linked to the libertine King William IV. Whispers of ill omen that courtiers noted but dismissed. This ennoblement amplified his responsibilities. More ribbon cuttings, speeches at banquets, and representations at state events. Privately, adventure called again in 1889 with a 7-month Indian tour, a whirlwind of splendor. Departing from Bombay, he traversed the subcontinent in royal trains, greeted by Maharajas in jewel-encrusted turbans. Tiger hunts in Rajasthan tested his marksmanship. He bagged one, its skin later a rug in Sandringham, while elephant processions through Delhi's ancient streets awed him. Feasts featured curries and dances, but rumors trailed. An alleged affair with Marjorie Haddon, wife of a civil servant, who years later claimed Eddie fathered her son. A scandalous assertion dismissed in courts but lingering in tabloids. Returning, marriage became pressing. Victoria, ever the matchmaker, proposed cousins. First, Alex of Hesse, a bright-eyed granddaughter whom Eddie courted at Balmoral amid misty highlands. He proposed during a walk by Loch Muke, but she gently declined, her heart drawn to Russia's Nicholas II, whom she wed in 1894. Next, Margaret of Prussia, but Alexandra's disdain for German ties, stemmed from Denmark's territorial losses, vetoed it. Then came true romance. Princess Hélène of Orléans, daughter of a French pretender, met Eddie at a London soirée in 1890. Their connection was electric. Letters flew, Eddie writing of her sparkling eyes and wit that lights my days. He proposed, vowing to abdicate succession if needed. Hélène offered to convert from Catholicism. Victoria, initially opposed due to faith differences, relented after witnessing their devotion. Yet, Hélène's father forbade it, backed by Pope Leo XIII, shattering their dreams. Eddie's letters to friends revealed raw despair. I am utterly miserable without her. The world seems dimmer now. Rebounding, in December 1891 at Luton Hoo Estate, he proposed to Princess Victoria Mary of Teck, May, a composed, intelligent woman of minor royalty. She accepted, surprised but pleased, the family applauding her steadiness. The wedding date, February 27, 1892, at Windsor St. George's Chapel, with plans for a grand procession and honeymoon in Europe. Eddie appeared on the cusp of stability, his future as husband and potential king seemingly secure. Throughout these chapters, Eddie's personal realm unveiled a man of soft contrasts, where warmth clashed with inner turmoil. His correspondence with Alexandra brimmed with affection. One missive from India ended, "Your loving and devoted son, Eddie, who misses your gentle counsel." She reciprocated, calling him my dear Eddie dear, in notes tucked with pressed flowers from Danish gardens, shielding him from Bertie's occasional stern rebukes over perceived idleness. A lesser-known tale from his Bacchante voyage highlights his composure. Off Cape Horn, a ferocious gale lashed the ship, waves crashing over decks. While George faltered in fear, Eddie steadied lines with crewmen, his calm earning their admiration. One sailor later recalled, "The prince had the heart of a lion in that storm." Emotionally, isolation gnawed. A boyhood companion noted Eddie's aversion to the world's initiations, opting for solitary walks over raucous nights, perhaps stemming from shyness or health woes. Tudor's words humanized him. Stephen, frustrated yet fond, praised his warm heart and genuine charm that wins over strangers. Privately, Eddie shared vulnerabilities, confiding to a cousin in a rare letter, "I feel overwhelmed by the weight of expectation. Sometimes I fear I'll never measure up." His tie to George was unbreakable. They exchanged coded notes about shared secrets, like those tattoos, and George later mourned, "How deeply I did love him, and I remember with pain nearly every hard word and little quarrel I ever had with him. Eddie's pleasures were understated. Horseback rides through Windsor's great park, leaves crunching under hooves as he sketched oaks and deer, a talent he honed in private albums, now archived but seldom seen. Music offered solace. He played violin with unexpected finesse, favoring melancholic pieces by Mendelssohn during quiet evenings, notes drifting through palace corridors. Yet shadows loomed, persistent fevers, headaches possibly from epileptic flickers, and an 1885 doctor's letter referencing GLEAT treatment, Victorian code for gonorrhea, likely caught in youthful Cambridge escapades. These elements crafted a prince not indolent, but encumbered, his quiet storm a testament to hidden depths. No public figure evades controversy, and Eddie's life was eclipsed by persistent shadows that endure in historical discourse. The Cleveland Street scandal of 1889 stands as the most explosive. Police uncovered a male brothel on London's Cleveland Street, frequented by elites, where homosexuality was illegal and punishable by hard labor. Whispers implicated Eddie, allegedly spread by Lord Arthur Somerset's lawyer, to divert attention from his client. Anonymous missives flooded Marlborough House with outrageous claims, tormenting the family. British press censored details, but U.S. outlets like the New York Times lambasted him as a dullard and spoiled fool, unfit for rule. Debates rage. Biographers like H. Montgomery Hyde assert no proof of visits or homosexuality, deeming accusations unfair fabrications. Others posit bisexuality, pointing to Stephen's intimate poems hinting at unspoken longing, though unproven. Bertie quashed the inquiry, no charges filed against patrons. More sensational, posthumous ties to Jack the Ripper, the 1888 Whitechapel slayer of 5 women, 1970s theories, notably Stephen Knight's Jack the Ripper, The Final Solution, alleged Eddie sired a child with a shopgirl, prompting royal cover-up murders. Some claimed syphilis from West Indies travels drove him insane, fueling killing sprees. Scholars refute this as fantasy. Alibis confirm Eddie at Balmoral on September 30th, 1888, during double murders, hunting stags far from London. Health debates persist. 1885 to 86 letters confirm gonorrhea treatments, possibly mild syphilis from university flings, exacerbating frailty. Counterviews affirm him utterly heterosexual, scandals inflated by sensationalism. In 1891, actress Lydia Manton's suicide by carbolic acid linked her to Eddie via rumored romance, foreign papers sensationalizing, while British restrained. Post-death dancer Maude Richardson alleged hush money for silence on liaisons. Her 1,900 letters auctioned in 2002, but branded forgeries. These intricacies portray a nuanced man, flawed yet not monstrous, victim of an era's unforgiving gaze. Tragedy descended abruptly in January 1892, derailing a life on the brink. Amid wedding preparations, May selecting lace gowns, and discussions of naming Eddie Viceroy of Ireland, aligning with his sympathetic views on Irish autonomy, illness struck. The 1889 to 1892 Russian flu pandemic ravaged Europe, claiming over 1 million lives with its virulent strain. At Sandringham for Christmas hunts, Eddie caught it, fever spiking amid chills. Confined to bed, it worsened to pneumonia, lungs filling as he gasped for air. For 8 agonizing hours on January 14th, family encircled him, Bertie and Alexandra holding hands, sisters weeping, George at his side, May nearby with physicians and nurses administering oxygen and brandy. Bertie penned to Victoria, "Gladly would I have given my life for his," anguish raw. Alexandra, shattered, preserved his room as a shrine, bed unmade, clothes folded eternally. George grieved in diary. I remember with pain nearly every hard word. Oh, that it is too late! At the funeral in Windsor's St. George's Chapel, May placed her orange blossom bridal wreath on the coffin, a heart-rending gesture of unfulfilled vows. Interred in the Albert Memorial Chapel, his tomb, crafted by sculptor Alfred Gilbert, features a marble effigy in hussar garb, an angel bestowing a celestial crown, hailed as Victorian sculpture's finest. Nationwide, mourning was profound. Shops shuttered, bells pealed somberly, crowds lined streets in silent tribute. Eddie's demise echoed beyond personal loss, profoundly altering the monarchy's trajectory. George stepped into the heir's role, drawing closer to May in shared sorrow. They married in 1893, ascending as King George V and Queen Mary in 1910. George's steady hand guided Britain through World War I, renaming the House Windsor amid anti-German sentiment, modernizing the crown with broadcasts and public engagement. Historians muse on alternatives. Might Eddie, with his affable nature and reformist inclinations, have fostered earlier Irish peace, or navigated imperial challenges differently? His death exposed royal health frailties, accelerating research into flu vaccines and antibiotics, advances that could have saved him today. Culturally, it spawned Ripper lore, inspiring works like From Hell film and graphic novels, casting him as enigma or innocent. Politically, it fortified the line, averting potential instability from a perceived weak heir amid scandals. In contemporary reflection, Eddie's tale imparts lessons on rumor dangers, the psychic burden of obligation, and empire's toll on individuals. It illuminates existence's paradoxes. A prince primed for eminence, felled by ailment and innuendo, affirming that crowns conceal fragile hearts. Ultimately, Eddie transcends scandal's grasp, emerging as a touching essence, affectionate, exploratory, oppressed by circumstance. His abbreviated span, snuffed at 28, evokes enduring melancholy, for romances thwarted, aptitudes untapped, and humanity's delicate splendor. Closing this account, recall him beyond obscurity for the radiance he sought to clasp. A prince who, in subdued manner, brushed infinity. We're done for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, smash the like button, comment below, and hit subscribe for more great content coming your way soon.